Welcome back to Bay Area Focus. From writing workshops to poetry slams, Youth Speaks offers young people many platforms for self-expression. Dr. Susie Lundy and student poet Brenda Quintanilla from Youth Speaks join me now. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having us.
All right, Youth Speaks, this is pretty cool. You have after-school workshops. You really inspire kids to express themselves.
Yeah, Youth Speaks really strives to create safe spaces for young people to find, develop, and then publicly present their voices so they can become creators of social change.
And tell me about poetry slams. What are they?
Yeah, so poetry slams are an Olympic-style competition where poets can share poems, and they are scored, and that's how they advance to the next round. We do try to de-emphasize the points and focus on the poetry, but it is an exciting space for young people to come and share their words.
And when you talk about poetry, I mean, what kind of poetry? Is it structured poetry, or is it just whatever they think of?
We get all kinds of poetry. At Youth Speaks in particular, we try to start with poems for first-time writers around personal narratives, so they're really starting to define the world in their own terms. And so we'll hear a lot in the earlier preliminary rounds, we hear a lot of stories about family and culture and home, and unfortunately things like domestic violence or sexual assault, but also about what it is to be a nerd or what it is to be, like a first-generation immigrant. We get everything across the board.
It seems like it's really used for social awareness, social interaction.
Yeah, definitely. This is one of many of the facets of our programs, but once young people get more comfortable with writing and expressing themselves and being critical commentators on their own lives and society, we have a lot of other programs that they can engage in, like campaigns around type 2 diabetes or campaigns around the dropout crisis in the United States.
Well, Brenda, this is really exciting for you. You're 17 years old, you're from Richmond, and you're a finalist in this year's slam.
Yeah.
When did you start writing poetry?
I began writing poetry when I was in 8th grade. I became involved in a program called Raw Talent, which stands for Richmond Artists with Talent. And with them, I was able to improve my poetry skills and also performing skills. So not just writing, but also having the courage to get in front of an audience and share whatever it is that I write.
Were you nervous at first to do that?
Yeah, definitely. I used to have a lot of stage fright. I would begin laughing if I was nervous. But over the years, I was able to overcome that because of spoken word.
And what are some of the things you write about?
Similar to what Susie is saying, I write a lot about social justice. So many of my poems are, well, for example, I have a poem about immigration and what my journey has been being an immigrant here in the United States, women's rights, the education system, America's criminal justice system, things like that, things that I have a personal connection to, but that I also feel are a big issue in our community.
Well, we do have a clip from last year's finals, so let's take a look.
As our food arrived, I couldn't even eat. My stomach tangled around and not a hope rising in my throat. You pointed to your forearm, or my name, birthday, and zodiac sign was tattooed on you in dark blue. Stretching from the middle of your arm to your elbow, as if you were there when I forced my way out between my mother's legs. I guess that tattoo was supposed to be your form of my birth certificate. I don't see how you can have me carved inside of your flesh, yet I can only remember 7 times you embraced me, Jamal. You still play hide and seek with your manhood. You carry my birthday around on display, but every year when April 12th rolls around, you change the number, so I can't ask you for anything. But all I wanted was your time, because you can't put a price tag on a disabled heart.
There's a lot of raw emotion there. Is it hard for you to get in front of somebody and really expose yourself?
Oh yeah, it is. I think that's one of the hardest things that I have personally had to do. For example, this year at the semifinals, which was just last week, I wrote a poem about my mom, and I had never written about her. It was my first time writing about her and like really thinking about what she means to me. And when I got on stage and I performed the poem, at the end, I like teared up and I started crying because it was my first time performing about her. And like, when you really focus in what you have written in your words and you picture it in your head, that's when the emotions start coming in. It's about feeling what you're saying, not just reciting what you wrote, but really understanding what you felt the moment you were writing it.
And do you feel like you really reach out to the audience members as well? I'm sure you had other people in tears.
Yeah. It's really good to hear people responses, like to hear them snap or just anything, any of their reactions really like give you a motivation to keep doing what you do and to keep sharing your stories.
When is the Poetry Slam?
So our Grand Slam finals are on March 24th. March 21st at the North Theater, and you can get tickets online at youspeaks.org.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for coming on, Brenda. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Good luck. We'll be watching for you.
Thank you.
All right, and for more information on Youth Speaks programs, just log on to youthspeaks.org. Again, that's youthspeaks.org. Coming up, how a Daly City Wellness Center encourages young people to make healthy choices.